Wake up in the middle of the night and be terrified.
Not everyone knows this, but Bill and Giuliana Rancic always wanted to have a second baby. They've even tried for one, but then their surrogate had a miscarriage and everything fell apart. They're finally revealing what really happened, and it's honestly pretty devastating. Bill and Giuliana welcomed their first baby, a son named Duke, in 2012. Duke was born via surrogate because the couple were having fertility issues. Giuliana has always been pretty open about their struggles with fertility, as well as about her 2011 battle with breast cancer, so they didn't shy away from talking about their surrogacy experience. Everything obviously worked out perfectly with Duke, so Bill and Giuliana wanted to do it again. They had 3 more embryos, and the 2 of them were used in their next attempt in 2014. Their surrogate Delphine got pregnant, and everything was looking great for the couple. It looked like they would be able to grow their family and give Duke a sibling. But then sadly, Delphine had a miscarriage. Bill and Giuliana were devastated. They said that they loved Delphine very much and that they didn't see this coming at all. Bill talked to people about what happened, and he described Delphine as amazing. He said that they really hit the surrogate lottery with her and that they knew this wasn't her fault at all. But they were still really crushed when they found out about the miscarriage. Delphine was about 9 weeks pregnant at the time, so they were only about 3 weeks away from the safe zone, which made the whole thing even more heartbreaking. Bill also said that they didn't want Delphine to feel bad, and this was another thing that added to their overall sadness. Even though they were both devastated, they managed to stay strong. They relied on their faith, and they decided to instead look forward to the future. At the time, the couple even said that they would like to try again at some point, and they were even hoping that they could try again with Delphine. They still had 1 more embryo left, so all hope wasn't lost yet, and they actually did eventually try again. But sadly, at the end of the same year, they received more heartbreaking news. Their surrogate had a miscarriage again, and according to Giuliana, this was the toughest blow of them all. Apparently, they were feeling very optimistic about the last embryo. They knew it was their last chance, and because of that, they were convinced that it was going to work. Unfortunately, it didn't, and Bill and Giuliana lost their chance to have another biological child. They didn't let that break them though. Giuliana made it clear that they were going to focus on the good things in their life. She said that she wanted to make sure that she was present with Duke. She described him as her priority, and she said that they fought really hard for him. Giuliana explained that she and Bill were very lucky to have Duke, and she added that he kept them really busy. Even though they were heartbroken about the miscarriages, they weren't letting that affect the family that they already had. But that didn't mean that they completely gave up on having another child. Giuliana said that the dream was definitely still alive. She said that they still wanted to expand their family. Apparently, this was a conversation that they had many times, and they both felt like they would love to have another child. Giuliana told people that if God blessed them with a second child, it would be incredible. And she also later said that they were open to everything. Obviously, with the last miscarriage, they lost their chance of having another biological child, but they were open to all other options. They thought that adoption was a beautiful gift, and they were very open to the idea. Giuliana said that she was more open to it than ever before. She said that this was because she loved Duke so much, and she realized that if she couldn't take care of him, she would want someone else to be there for him and love him. So this was how she saw adoption. But if the couple were open to adoption back in 2015, why haven't they had another baby since Duke? Understandably, they probably needed to take some time off after their 2 miscarriages. It's clear that that was a really difficult time for them. They needed to heal from those devastating losses and figure out what they wanted to do next. Giuliana also said that she really wanted to focus on Duke, so maybe the couple came to the conclusion that they needed to prioritize their son for a while. But all of this would only explain why they didn't have a second baby right away. At this point though, Duke is 11 years old and he still doesn't have a sibling. It's possible that Bill and Giuliana might have changed their minds about having another baby, but for the longest time they seemed really settled on the idea of growing their family. So what changed? Was the loss just too much for them to handle? That would honestly be understandable. Miscarriages are very difficult, and they probably needed a lot of time to process things. Maybe they didn't want to risk going through that kind of pain again. It's honestly impossible to say, but something must have changed along the way, because it really did seem like they would adopt another child at some point, but they just haven't done that. I guess it's also possible that they might still do it in the future, but how likely is that at this point? Right now, Giuliana is 49 years old while Bill is 52. If they were to adopt another child sometime soon, that would still work, but they probably can't wait that much longer, especially if they want Duke to grow up with his sibling at least a little bit, because in just 7 years, their first kid will be an adult and he might move out of their house. Giuliana seems to be aware of how fast Duke is growing too. In April 2023, she took to Instagram to share a bunch of photos from the family's trips to Disney World. Apparently, Duke, and Bill go to Disney World pretty often. It's sort of a family tradition of theirs, and Giuliana decided to share a couple of photos from their many trips over the years. This only highlighted just how grown up Duke really is these days. He's clearly not a small kid anymore, and Giuliana and Bill are definitely aware of that. But what does that mean for their future? And are they really no longer thinking about expanding their family? Are they happy just being the three of them? Well, in 2019, when Giuliana announced that she would no longer be working full-time at E, she said something very interesting. She basically explained that she wanted to focus on their family more and she wanted to spend as much time with them as possible. But there's more. She also hinted that she was hoping to grow her family soon. So was that her saying that she and Bill were still considering having another child? If that's the case, why hasn't it happened yet? Giuliana said this in 2019, so it's been about 4 years since then. As far as we know, they still haven't welcomed another child. Possible that they are having issues behind the scenes that we just don't know about, but it's all just so mysterious and confusing. On the one hand, they seem determined to have another kid, but on the other hand, it's been years since they started talking about adoption, and nothing's happened yet. So what do you guys think is going on? Do you think Giuliana and Bill will expand their family anytime soon? Why do you think they haven't done it yet? Let me know in the comments below.